Welcome to A Journey to Happy Happy. I'm Autumn, mom, spiritual mentor, angel Reiki master, and also just a human figuring it out just like you. This is the place you come when life feels a little loud, a little chaotic, and you need just a moment to come back to yourself. Because here's the thing, life doesn't have to be so serious. You can hold your emotions, I can hold mine, and when we meet here, we don't have to fix anything. We just get to be. We get to laugh, we get to breathe, and actually enjoy the moments we're in. That's what happy is. Not perfect, not forced, just presence. So wherever you are right now, driving, walking, hiding in the bathroom for 5 minutes apiece, you made it. You're here. And this is your reminder that the journey you're on right now is already worth celebrating. Welcome back to your journey, back to happy. You know what's been blowing my mind lately? Like absolutely blowing my mind? Like my son. Okay. He is a 1.5. Well, he'll be 1.5 on the 23rd of July. And every single day I get to watch him. Like I am so blessed enough to be able to watch him grow, sprout, and become who he is meant to become in this world. And I've realized through watching him that he has absolutely no idea he's supposed to fit in. Like none. Okay. He walks into every room like, yep, I'm here. I'm making a statement. Everybody's going to know I'm here and we're just all going to have to deal with it. Seriously, though. He'll walk into a grocery store waving at complete strangers, screaming at complete strangers, throwing his hands up. Sometimes he hears music and he's itching to get out of the cart. So I'll get him out of the shopping cart and then he's dancing in the aisle because he likes the tone he's hearing. He has absolutely no concern whether someone thinks he's weird, too loud, or too much. He is simply just existing. And honestly, watching him has made me realize something. I think somewhere along the way, we as adults forgot how to do that. We forgot how to be so authentically ourselves. We forgot how to show up in the way our hearts want us to. We forgot how to take up space without apologizing for existing. And I started thinking, when did I stop doing that? Like, when did I stop walking into a room believing that I belonged there? Because I know I wasn't born questioning it. And watching my son reminds me of just that. I have a daughter too, but I think that there is a difference because I'm a little older and a little wiser now. But I know I wasn't born doubting whether I was wanted. Sometimes I literally convince myself I'm not invited to a party, even though my name is literally on the invitation. I convince myself they only want me there because they feel like they have to invite me. And isn't that a wild thing? Isn't it wild what our minds can convince us of? Isn't it wild how quickly our brains can take something so simple and turn it into evidence that we don't belong? But back to Marky. He is a whole problem. He is an entire problem. Let me tell you a story that just happened the other day. We were all swimming at my grandma's house, and she has this big, beautiful deck. There's one part of the deck that probably isn't even noticeable to anyone else except a 1-year-old. It's this tiny space where if you walk through it, you can get on the ledge of the pool. Probably only a 1-year-old could fit through this space. And of course, Marky finds it. He does not care about my no. He does not care about my tone. He does not care that I'm getting out of the pool charging at him. He launches himself into that space and starts trying to tightrope along the ledge of the pool. As a 1-year-old, whole problem, full send, one speed. Doing exactly what is on his mind, regardless of the repercussions. And obviously, safety matters. And I'm not saying we should all walk along the ledge of a pool without thinking, but it blows my mind to see his dedication to himself. And honestly, his fearlessness. He doesn't think, what if I fall? He thinks, wow, this looks fun. I think I can do this. Bravery. Somewhere along the line, adulthood convinced us that before we do something, we need permission. We're are all full grown adults still waiting for someone to tell us it's okay. That it's okay to try, to change, to speak, to take up space, to want more. We don't need permission anymore. We need to reconnect with the version of ourselves who simply saw something exciting and thought, I want to experience that. Because sometimes all of the thinking about what could happen pauses our lives. It keeps us stuck in stagnant energy. It builds a bridge straight into fear. And I honestly think every single baby who comes into this world knows they belong. They don't compare, they don't perform for our approval, they perform for themselves. They're the next Superman, the next superhero, the next Spider-Man, maybe even the next dinosaur. They are not performing for us. They're expressing themselves. They don't apologize. They don't wonder if they're enough. They just are. My son has so much purpose. My daughter does too. My daughter will be 10 in October, and I can already see the difference between the two of them. When I was raising my daughter, I was just beginning my spiritual journey, and I can see how quickly children begin to collect conditions and ideas about who they're supposed to be. I don't want to place those same conditions onto my son. Obviously, safety is a concern, but I want him to live fearlessly. I don't want him to be afraid of being fully himself. He is the first one to pick up a spider, to get close to a snake, to climb as high as he can on anything that he finds. Again, whole problem. But my son has so much purpose, not because of what he'll become someday, but because of who he already is. And I believe that about him. How could I not believe that about him? But why wouldn't it be true for you too? I think we've made purpose way too complicated. I think we've attached far too many identities to purpose. When we're trying to fulfill an identity, that identity can become us. It begins to consume us, even when it doesn't resonate with who we really are. We are so caught up in purpose is finding this perfect career. Purpose is finding this perfect business to own, this perfect soulmate, this mission, this treasure hunt of a mission. But honestly, I don't like identities. I don't resonate with them. I don't like the pressure we place around purpose. I think purpose is simply becoming more of yourself, becoming a little more like that relentless little problem of a child. And I say problem in quotation marks because I don't think he's an actual problem. He just takes up space. He brings an explosion of energy into every room, and that energy creates movement. That energy creates connection. That energy creates life. Marky changes every room he walks into, not because he accomplishes anything. Honestly, he's like a tsunami coming through the house, a tornado whipping through and pulling everything out. But he changes the energy of every room simply by being himself, fully joyful, fully present, fully him. Now, if I walked into a room and I did exactly what he did, people might look at me like I was insane. But maybe we need to stop being so attached to how things should look because those expectations keep us looping. What if bringing our full selves into every room is part of the purpose? What if we stop putting a lampshade over our own light? What if we show up full? Full send. What if that's purpose? I've noticed something in my own life. When something hard happens, my brain immediately starts looking for evidence that I don't belong. It starts saying, see, this is why. This is why I told you not to do that. But then I started asking myself, what if that is just my nervous system trying to keep me safe? What if it isn't the truth? What if it's protection? What if the situation isn't as hard as my mind is making it seem? What if my nervous system is protecting me from a story rather than something that is actually happening? What if I really am wanted at that party? What if I really am wanted in the spaces I'm invited to? Protection is important, don't get me wrong. Our nervous systems are always trying to help us survive. but sometimes they are protecting us from old stories that are no longer happening. And maybe it's time to allow ourselves to feel safe enough to show up, to release the identities we've built around hard situations. Maybe it's the identity of being anxious, having anxiety, being divorced, awkward, broken, the black sheep of the family, being too much, not enough. But what if those aren't identities? What if they are experiences? What if we've attached ourselves to those experiences as if we have some shame we need to carry forever? What if those are simply things our nervous system have held onto? What if they're ready to be released little by little? It's hard for me to explain who I am sometimes because every day I feel like I'm on a mission of flow. How am I going to flow today with the universe? How am I going to be open to receiving what is meant for me? How am I going to stay so in the present moment that I feel and can tap into the happy, the joy? I don't want identities holding me back, and I don't want to feel like I have to perform to uphold a job title, a situation, or a business title. My topic pregnancies are not who I am. They're something I lived through. My business isn't who I am. It's something I created. My podcast isn't who I am, but it's something I get to share. It's a way I get to use my voice. I simply believe that I am just love. I think I'm love having a human experience. I'm here to bring love into every situation that I can. I'm done performing. I'm done wearing the skin of other people's energies to keep them comfortable. I'm not shrinking myself so other people don't have to feel something. I am here as loving energy, and I think belonging isn't something that we find. Belonging is something that we have to stop talking ourselves out of. We don't lose belonging. We lose the memory that we belonged. And children remind us. They remind us that we belong. They remind us that community is important. They remind us that joy and imagination are the energy of creation. Have you ever seen kids playing at a park? Everyone and anything is invited in their circle of imagination, of play. And this is why I created Happy Happy. Not because life is perfect. Life is so incredibly complicated. This is hell school, people. I created Happy Happy because I wanted to create a place where people remember they already belong. You belong here. No matter how you are showing up, no matter what is happening in your world, no matter whether you have it all figured out or not, you are still wanted. You're still valuable. You're still needed and you still belong. You still belong in this universe. You belong here. And I want you to leave with this. The next time you see a toddler, watch them. Really, really watch them. Watch how they laugh. Watch how they explore. Watch how they trust, how they take up space, how they completely shift the energy of a room just by being present. And then ask yourself, when did I stop believing I could do that too? Because I promise you, with everything in me, that version of you still exists. Happy Happy isn't about becoming happier. It's about remembering the person you were before the world convinced you that you had to earn your place here. What if you have belonged every single day of your life? What if you have spent years trying to prove something that never needed proving? You belong, you always have. And maybe that's the whole point of the journey, to remember. Until next time, the journey is the joy. I hope you find your happy, happy moments and continue to live in the knowing that you are enough. Happy, happy. Thank you for taking this journey with me today. Wherever you're listening from, whatever season of life you're in, whatever you're carrying, I hope you remember you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to build something, and you don't have to wait for someday because the journey really is the joy. Until next time, happy, happy.